Hello student, this is Palladarbari, your host, and you're watching Palladarbari classes. In this video, we will discuss stats for economics class 11th. The chapter that we will discuss is collection of data. This is the second volume of the chapter. In this video, we will discuss census method and sample method. Let us see the census method. It is that method in which data is collected from each and every item of the universe. Under this method, every person is being considered from the universe and the information is being taken from each and every item of the universe. Let us see where the method is suitable. Census method is suitable where the size of the population is very small. Where the area of the investigation is very small, this census method is suitable. Next is when there is a diverse nature of the population. When every item of the universe is different, then this method, census method, is more suitable. Next is where the intensive examination is being needed, then census method is suitable. Where the high degree of accuracy and the reliability is needed, then also we opt census method. Now let us see what is sample method. It is that method in which information is being collected from the selected number of the people and conclusion is being drawn on the basis of the information that we have fetched from the selected number of the people. Let us see where this method is suitable. Listen, when the size of the population is very large, it is very impossible then we just go and collect information from each and every item of the universe. Why we can't information from each and every item of the universe? Because the size of the population is very large and it is impossible for the enumerator to himself go and collect information from every item. Remember, if the accuracy is not needed, we simply want just an idea about the problem. There also we can think of applying the sample method. Where the intensive examination is not needed, there also we apply this method. When different of the universe are more or less every item of the universe are similar, then also we can think of applying the sample method. Now let us discuss the merits of the sample method. This is sample method is very economical. The question is why the sample method is very economical? Because under the sample method, we are not studying each and every item of the universe. We are studying the selected people or the selected group, and just to study the selective group, the information can be fetched quickly with the less money, because we don't need to hire a very big, we don't have to maintain a big team. So it is economical. The next is, in this method, only the limited number of items are investigated, so it saves time. Next is, in this method, it is very easy to identify errors. Cross check we can do. Why? Because the limited number of the limited number of the candidates are there from whom the information is taken, so we can cross verify it. This method is more feasible when the area of the investigation is large. Now let us see some demerits. Remember, it is only a partial investigation. Why I say it is a partial investigation? Because we have studied a selected people, so the information taken from the limited number of the people is a partial only. So we cannot even, so the result that we get by opting the sample method may be biased, may be one-sided. Next is, if the selected sample does not represent the characteristic of the universe. Suppose we have selected the same type of the people having the same type of the problem and ignored the people having different type of the problem, then the conclusion that we draw might be wrong. It is not very easy to select sample, because at the time of selecting the sample, the people should have the complete and the thorough understanding about the entire population. They should know the characteristic of entire population, and which is very impossible in fact. Now let us see the essentials of a sample. So at the time of selecting the sample, what are the things we have to keep in our mind? The first is, sample must represent all the characteristics of the universe. What it means? It means that every item of the universe should be duly considered. Clear? First one. Next is inclusion of one item in the sample should not depend upon the inclusion of the other item of the universe. It means that each and every item that we have selected as a sample, or the item that we have taken as a sample, should not be influenced by the other item. Clear? Next is, if more than one sample are selected from the universe, then these samples should be homogeneous in nature. Suppose if we are collecting the information relating to income, then only the income related information we have to fetch. If we are collecting two information, then two information should be there. Listen, the size of the sample should not be too small or should not be too large. It should be ideal. Now let us see different types of sampling. The first one is random sampling. The question is, what is this random sampling? It is that method of sampling in which each and every item of the universe has the equal chance of being selected. Clear? Because randomly we select the person as a sample. So every item of the universe has the equal chance of being selected. There are two types of random sampling. First one is the lottery method and the other one is called the table of random numbers. Let us see what is this lottery method. We have witnessed this lottery method. We have seen the lottery method so many times. You know, at the time of the lucky draw, what happens? We write down the name of the participants on a jar. We shake the jar, ask the person to come and pick one slip, and whose names should come should be considered as the winner. So every person is having the chances of being selected as a winner. So this happens this is called lottery method. This is one of the random sampling method. The other one is the tables of random numbers. It means any table, randomly we decide any table. For example, we decide the table of 5. So 5, 10, 15. So the serial number of these 5, serial number 5, serial number 10, serial number 15 should be selected as a sample. So that is called tables of random number. Suppose randomly we decide that whatever the number comes in the table of 2 will be selected as a sample. 3 should be selected as sample. 4 should be taken as a sample. So randomly we decide the table, and whatever the number comes in the table, that serial number or the roll number should be selected as a sample. That is called tables of random numbers. The next is deliberate sample. Let us see what is deliberate sampling. It is that method in which investigator himself make the choice of the sample which in his opinion are the best representative of the universe. So this method totally depends upon the investigator. So here the investigator himself decide and select the sample. The next is called stratified or the mixed sampling. This method of sampling is generally adopted when the population consists of different groups. When in the population we are having a different flavors of the people, there we opted the stratified or the sampling, mixed sampling. According to this method, what we do, we divide the population in different groups on the basis of the different nature of the sample, and from every group we select the sample. So this method is very good. The next method that we opt is the systematic sampling method. According to this method, what happens, that the population are numerically, geographically or alphabetically arranged. For example, we arrange the sample name wise, A alphabet, B alphabet, C alphabet and so on. And after arranging it, we select the sample. The next is quota sampling. This quota sampling is the extension of the stratified sampling or the mixed sampling. So what we do, firstly we divide the population into groups, and from every group we select 5 people as a sample. So from every group we have fixes the quota, and from every group we select the fixed number of the people as a sample. So as I told you, this is the extension of the stratified sampling method. Now let us see the convenience sampling. This is the last method. So what is this convenience sampling method? In this method, the sample is done by the investigator in such a manner that suit his convenience. For example, suppose I have to select a teacher who should represent the school. So what I do, instead of taking the interview and calling all the teachers and then select, I do one thing according to my convenience. I just ask the person to bring prospectus, and from the prospectus I select the teacher. So it means out of the convenience of the investigator, the sample is being selected. So that is called convenience sampling method. Now let us see the reliability of the data. What are the points we have to consider at the time of relying the data, whether the data should be reliable or not? I mean, certain fact we have to consider. Listen, the reliability totally depends upon the size of the sample. As I told you, the size of the sample should not be very small. If the size of the sample is very small, then the information that we have fetched from the sample may be wrong. So the size of the sample is a must, and we have to consider the good size. The next is the method of the sampling. The reliability of the data totally depends upon the method. Suppose if we have opted the random sampling, you really feel that the data that we have obtained is reliable? According to me, if we apply the quota sampling method or mixed sampling method, that is more reliable. So the reliability also depends upon the method that we have opted. The next is training of the enumerator. Listen, before sending the person to collect the data, the proper training should be given to the people so that the information that he collects should be correct. Let us see the difference between the census method and the sample method. On the basis of the meaning, we can say that census method is a systematic study of each and every item of the universe, whereas in the case of the sampling method, information is being collected from the selected number of the people. On the basis of the enumeration, we can say it is a complete process, whereas the sampling is a partial. On the basis of study, we can say that under census method, each and every unit of the population is studied, whereas in the case of the sampling method, only a handful of the unit of the population is studied. On the basis of time required, we can say it is a time consuming process and sampling is a fast process. On the basis of the cost, we can say that census method is very expensive. Why it is called very expensive? Because each and every item of the universe is studied, and in the case of the sampling method, only the selected number of the people is studied, and from them the information is being taken and the conclusion is drawn. So it is economical. Next is result. The result obtained from the census method is reliable, whereas sampling is not reliable because the chances of biasness is there. Next is error. The chances of the error is more under the sampling method, whereas in census error is not present. Let us see appropriate for. Census method is appropriate when the universe are having flares of nature. I mean, when the population is of a heterogeneous nature, then we go for the census method, and when the population is of a homogeneous nature, then sampling is the best one. That's all I have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all. Dear subscribers, if you are not subscribed my channel, please subscribe the channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that whenever I upload the new video, you get the notification.